Vern Goodman, and I represent a group of agents that work under the Amy Armstrong Agency. We're the Greater Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Division of the Colonial Life and Accident Company. And the purpose of our webinar today is to hopefully help you better understand the Affordable Care Act and the regulations and penalties that are there imposed, and to hopefully help you use this as something that you can benefit from rather than becoming a victim of. We also are here to help assist with employees because they have questions about coverage and places where they're not covered as well. And so hopefully we'll give you some information today that will help you better understand those. So the real question is, are you compliant with the ACA regulations? Well, what is the ACA? The Affordable Care Act usually refers to two separate pieces of legislation: the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act and the Health Care and Education Act of 2010. You see, these two plans together make up what is commonly called today Obamacare. So what does it mean? Well, under this program, a set of MECs, minimum essential coverages, were required by the government to be in all employer-sponsored, individual-sponsored, grandfathered, government-sponsored, or any other coverages defined by the Department of the Health and Human Resources. And so these plans now have to have these coverages in it. Some of these MECs that the ACA has required are, first of all, coverage for dependent children must be covered to age 26. No exclusions for pre-existing conditions. No annual or lifetime limits. 15, preventive services for adults. 26, preventive services for children. 22, preventive services for women. Prescription services for preventive only. And all of these must be covered at 100% with no limits. Or what? Well, the ACA requires that all employees with 50 or more full-time equivalent employees, and by the way, this took place beginning January 1 of 2016, that you must offer the opportunity to enroll for all of your employees in a group health plan which provides that minimum essential coverages. The penalty for not complying is a $2,000 fine for each full-time employee, minus the first 30. A full-time equivalent employee is any employee working 30 hours per week or more, and any accumulated part-time employees whose collective hours create a full-time employee. For example, a business has 42 full-time employees. However, they have 18 part-time employees, whose hours are equal to 9 full-time employees. The business must offer coverage to pay a penalty of $2,000 for the 12 employees. The 42 full-time minus the first 30, that equals 12, or a $24,000 penalty. Employers who do offer a health plan to their full-time employees must offer a health plan which is considered affordable under the CARE Act. It must have an actuarial value of at least 60% and not cost the employee more than 9.5% of their annual income. For each employee who enrolls on a government exchange, state or federal, and receives a subsidy, the business will be penalized a $3,000 fine. And by the way, none of these fines are tax deductible. The employee has a problem as well, for the mandate requires that all adult citizens must carry minimum essential coverage or pay a fine. In 2015, the fine was $325 per adult and $162.50 per child, or 2% of their household's income, whichever was higher. Let's use an example of a family of 4 earning $45,000 a year. They would pay a fine of $975. In 2016, that fine goes up to $695 per adult and $347.50 per child, or 2.5% of household income. Same example, same family of 4 earning $45,000 a year would owe a fine of $2,085. Plans for that are to go up again in 2017 and 2018. As you can see, it is substantially costing more and more to the people who don't comply with the regulations. So what's the answer? Well, each situation is different. That's where we come in. In as few as 20 minutes, we can get you the information that you need to be and stay compliant. What if the IRS were to give you a call this week and say they'd like to schedule a meeting with you to go over your ACA compliance to make sure that you're within regulation? How would that call make you feel? Nervous or scared? In either case, the way to get this started now is to go to www.amyarmstrongagency.com, fill out the contact form requesting a personalized review of your situation. Let's take a test. Maybe you're still not convinced. If someone were to ask you all of the who's and what's of the ACA compliance, would you be able to answer? How about the what's and when's for all the reporting compliance? Because for every regulation that tells you what you must do and when you must do it, there is a report that must be filled out and submitted to prove whether it was accomplished or whether it was eliminated. And how about just simple employment compliance? Do you realize that every bit of your employment records must be written and they must be signed by employees? Do you have a recruiting and hiring process, and is it written and clearly understood? Do you have an employment practice, and have you done a risk audit? Are your employees at will employment, and if so, do they understand that and have they signed off? Do you have a compensation and benefits package that's clearly outlined so that your employees understand it, and have they signed off that they agree, that they understand? Do you have a business ethics and conduct process, and is it in writing? Do you have a drug policy, harassment policy, an absence policy, whether it's paid absence like sick leave and vacation pay or possible unpaid absence leave? Are they written? Are they clearly understood by the employees, and have the employees all signed off that they understand? Do you have an external communications policy, an employee problem shooting policy, and most important, do you have a termination policy that the employees understand their rights as well as yours and what to be expected? Well, the question now is, how well did you do? If you're like most, by now you've realized that you might need a little help. Well, go to amyarmstrongagency.com, fill out the contact form requesting a personalized evaluation, and we'll do the rest. It's just that easy. The best part is, it's free. All we ask of you, if you allow us to help you be compliant and stay compliant, that you allow us to educate your employees. Short 10-minute meeting with each employee will allow us not only to help make you compliant, but it will allow us to answer the questions that your employees have. For as you understand, they're obligated by law to have coverage whether you offer it or not. No one's helping them to purchase it. No one's helping them to understand it. That's where we come in. And then we offer some strategies that might help give them coverage in places where they already have holes. All we ask is that you allow us to meet with your employees, educate them, and then if there are anything that the employee does benefit from, that you would allow us to set it up on a payroll deduction with your business. None of this costs you anything, especially up front. Your 15 to 20-minute meeting is completely free. We think that that'll be a time that you'll see, yes, you would love to have somebody making sure that you're compliant, so that if you got that call, you would have your packet of information all ready together to say, yes, I'm ready to meet. Let's sit down. That's a confidence that most people just don't have, to be honest. So, thank you for, again, attending our webinar. I hope it was informational for you. I hope that you'll contact us at amyarmstrongagency.com, that you'll fill out the contact form. And if you do, we'll be out there to see you and to make sure you're compliant. Otherwise, have a great day, and we look forward to meeting you.